An opportunity is only really an opportunity when you can see it clearly. Like all these hypotheses or trying to overthink something, that means it's not an opportunity. That means it's a possibility. Do I see a clear path to success here or not? Because until it's blurry and it's foggy, I just won't be able to make a proper decision on it. We got off that call and we were like, this is actually a little bit different to what we would have wanted, and this is why you shouldn't have too many chefs in the kitchen in a business, and that's why you kind of have to respect and create that board where you can get balanced opinions in certain sectors that align with your vision.
So we're after just recording the entire episode, but we didn't actually give our intros.
As we So I just start? So my name is Erik. I'm 24 years old. I'm involved in the agency space with Grafton Digital, and I'm involved with the Olive Group, building out educational products and services across Ireland and pretty much globally at this point. So we've been in business for the last six plus years with Daragh here, learning and going forward, and that's pretty much me.
Yeah, so my name's Daragh. Jordan, I suppose I'm 23 years old. We started in business with Erik 6 years ago. Earlier on this year, Erik brought me out of Grafton Digital, still repping the brand.
He's not paid, I swear.
No, he's cut me a check though. So he brought me out earlier on this year. I started a new company called Magnate. We're looking to revolutionize the way agencies handle messaging and task management. So I'm currently going from 0 to 1 on that at the moment. And then Erik and I also have a car park in Galway City called Sky Park Rooftop Car Park.
Make sure you go book and park. It's www.skyparkgalway.ie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I thought you might mess up the domain there.
No, I knew it. I bought it.
And we're only taking pre-bookings on that, so anyone who wants to book with us, you can book online. And I suppose the core focus of that business is to solve the issue of office parking nearby, because it's a real pain point for businesses and hotels nearby. So that's us. We've already recorded the episode.
Enjoy it, tune in and have some fun.
Yeah, hopefully enjoy it, and again, really open to feedback, so looking forward to hearing from all of you. Welcome back to episode 3 of Built From Scratch.
With yours truly, Erik and Daragh.
How's your week been so far?
You know what, my week's been great. Daragh, thanks for asking. It was a long week, I suppose. So just want to highlight that this episode is sponsored by Grafton Digital, as seen there with beautiful new merch. It won't be going on sale, so this is fully limited edition. So make sure you enjoy it.
Yeah, we need to agree commission splits first, please, Nike.
No commission on this one, buddy. How was your week?
No, pretty good. Yeah, we're making really good progress. I was just showing you the Figmas there on
That's exciting.
I think so. I think we're going to really come in with a big bang now, end of this month, for user trials, or continue user trials. So
it's about time. I've been waiting a long time, and I'm sure everybody else has been waiting a long time, especially you. You've been probably pretty patiently waiting for this one.
Yeah, we've been kind of working on this since January, and then full time since June.
Yeah.
So
from idea in January to first iteration in June, July, and then to kind of a more fleshed out version now in October, November. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
Good things take time though, right?
Okay. So we got a few points here today, and we also have got a listener question as well.
Shout out to our listener.
Who will not be named for the moment. He's going to be a mystery. He's going to be like do you remember the Stig from Top Gear? The guy with the...
Yes. Yes.
That's who asked the question in the first episode. Okay, do you want to kick off one of your points first, or kick off with mine?
Yeah, sure. Like, my point is kind of going back to, I'd probably say 2021. Obviously, we started the business, Grafton Digital, and we went from providing social media services to COVID hitting, and we having to pivot. And we happened to during this time meet a mutual mentor and friend of ours. And one of the points I want to kind of go through is the importance of having mentors around you, and firstly creating that, I suppose, board of advisors or people you trust, right? So obviously the official term is to call them board of advisors, but for ages at the start you're just going to have 1 or 2 or 3 people to bounce things off, because I think at the start it was a lot like we were bouncing things off your dad, because your dad's been in business how many years?
Like 25 plus years
in the waste management industry, exited successfully, and like we were bouncing things back and forth. Even though we were like going through the tech bits, there was a lot of stuff we could relate, especially the journey. And I think that was a transformational moment for both our careers, but for the business as well, having someone to coach you and unlock your potential. And that's something that I think goes a very long way, because still to this date, Gareth Flower is both our chairmans, both personal mentor, and through him, I suppose definitely for me anyways, it's been transformational, because I was able to unlock my vision, and he's been able to always go like helicopter overview of the business and everything we've been doing. And he's also, we're all kind of sharing learnings, and as you go along in business, you kind of meet new people, and they become part of your board. I suppose some can be paid, some can be just a cup of coffee every now and then because they're interested, they want to support you. It always depends on what you have. But I think that was one of my big learnings over the last week, is having someone that's able to back you up and help you flesh out your thoughts, and having someone that you can kind of bounce things off without any like background context, and let them kind of give you some advice points.
Yeah, like I know I have two thoughts on this. Firstly is, I remember at the time, like our worldview of what was possible and the world we were going into was so small. We really didn't realize what was possible, what we were capable of pulling off, or what people even around us were doing, Do you
remember we were doing projections on the whiteboard, and we were like writing like real basic stuff? I'll try to find a picture to clip it in.
Yeah.
But it was like, we've always like overshot in everything, or so undershot. We just didn't have that kind of bandwidth, or to know where limits might be, or how to test our limits, right?
Yeah. And then we meet Gareth Flower, and I suppose, and I'll briefly mention the story how we met him, because people always ask, how do you find your mentor? This question I get asked all the time. But this guy came along. He's Irish American, and he was basically he was in
half Puerto Rican and half Longfordian or whatever. Yeah, they're called Midland people.
The Midlands, just the middle of Ireland.
Yeah,
and this guy we began to know very well. Like, uprooted his life, moved to New York, and just made it work, and has built. He's the number one in his area right now in arrival technology, working with huge brands like Netflix, Uber, L'Oreal, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
OpenAI, like you name it, he's working with it. And seeing him go on that journey, and again, him being about 10 years older than us, as much as you might not want to mention that, but having so much more experience, was so pivotal. Even though it was a different sector, he was obviously in B2B SaaS. And obviously we were in service base. There was so much we could learn from that, see the previous exit in brick and mortar. And the other one as well was how we actually met him, which I think is relevant because I got asked this.
100%.
So back then I did a podcast called Calculated Chaos, back in 2017, 2018, and we basically couldn't meet inspirational business people because they didn't want to hear from a teenager, but people loved getting interviewed.
And why is that?
Because, well, I suppose it's a variety. Like, I suppose it rubs you the nice way when people ask
successful people like talking about themselves. Absolutely. As well. And here's 1 hour, just talk about yourself. Totally. And it's a great like engagement kind of area, isn't it?
And then anyone who then is playing into the founder piece now, if they can clip that up and use that in their socials. I've a guest that like I clip up clips and give it to them for their social media and stuff. So they get an upside as well of them being on camera and it being very organic. But I had reached out. I think I did about 33 podcasts. And Garrett was one of the last ones I ever did. But I invited Garrett down. Garrett did an interview with us.
Remember he brought his dog?
And his dog.
So it was myself, yourself, Garrett, Kevin Owens, and Sonny the dog. We were in the new office. We're after getting new carpets put down, and Garrett's dog, just imagine this dog that just wants to cause you a little bit of pain and like a little bit cheeky, but it's too cute to be angry at. And it was running around the room, and he might have done a bit of a number one on our carpet as well.
Good for our landlords.
And then shout out Kieran. Yeah. We went to the other room, the other office, and me and Kevin were trying to keep the dog both quiet and entertained in it while it was just running around and doing crazy things while you were interviewing Gareth.
Yeah, Gareth brought all the way down from Longford. But I remember interviewing him, and then Gareth did a very impromptu whiteboard session with us after our business, and basically broke down his business philosophy in some of it, and then our entire business, and just completely shed a new light for us, and showed us things like, I suppose part of it was things we knew but weren't willing to address, and other parts were like, oh, we never thought of it from that angle.
I think most entrepreneurs though walk in. They're kind of very good at ignoring some things regularly and just keep going, even though like you're kind of looking at life science and different things. is it blinded optimism is probably a good way to describe it, is you're just kind of like keep going and you're unstoppable in a way. But yeah, like he's done like a 5-minute whiteboard of our business. How much are you making from websites? How much are you making from social media? How much are you making from content creation?
Yeah.
And he just like circles web development and design. He's like, guys, you're losing money everywhere except here.
Yeah.
Like focus in on what's making you money.
Yeah. 80/20.
And Garrett's philosophy has always been like simplicity is like always like at the core, you know, the simple as it gets. Like he taught us how to do like 1-pager reasonings on how to do different business plans, and it was just a very good accountability partner, but both also like do not fall in the same do not trip on the same, you know, pothole that he's already walked in the last 10 years in advance of what we're walking at the moment. And that's why I think that the whole mentorship idea is really, really, you know, important. And one of the points like that I just wanted to say that I've just learned many times now is like you get advice from so many people. Some people give you advice on the streets on how to run your business or how to look after your personal health, mental, whatever it is. Like there's you'll hear advice everywhere and from anywhere. And I think it's very important to like over time develop that entrepreneurial gut to know what's good advice and know what's bad advice, because everyone wants to give you something in a weird but good way. Like I always love when people do give me a helicopter overview, but you have to know who to listen to or what part you want to actually listen to, because I think at the start, remember when Garrett would give us advice and we were like a little bit like agitated in a way of like, no, no, we don't get this, or, you know, but you're still going through that learning phase where you're like, you have to learn how to extract the value from his advice and how you know, want to run it into your business or life or whatever.
I think one of the things and one of the reasons Garrett continued to mentor us and then eventually become a chairman is because we had a very good ability to take advice and actually make it work. Because it's very easy to sit across from someone and go, yeah, great advice, oh no, you're so right, and walk away and do absolutely nothing with it. Speed
of implementation. People, money, places like speed, they all, you know, it needs momentum. And I think that's one thing we were unstoppable at, and the reason we were able to create like large momentums behind growth measured in different, you know, vectors is because we just got something and we're like nearly blindly like, okay, let's go do it, or let's go do this now. There was no waiting around, there was no thinking about it, there was no like, oh, let's look at this again. It was like, okay, right, we're doing this, we're, you know. And it was the first objective was one of our toughest moments of all times, when you're looking at departments of your business and you're having to lay people off, right? During COVID, a lot of people got laid off, and I remember that was a really tough. We didn't sleep for a couple of nights, having to lay some of our, you know, first team members coming on, and that was like a real transformational moment, because then Garrett goes, you guys actually listened and you've actually done what I've asked. It's actually impacted you positively. I wouldn't mind, you know, advising you guys if you guys see value in this relationship.
And then it was very, I suppose, like our route, and again, it's not the perfect route, just the route we went down is just, it was a good few months of doing impromptu once a month. Garrett might get us to have certain formatting of kind of preparation for the meeting and stuff.
The board packs.
The board packs. And
then, we were so amateurs, and it's something that I don't still probably have right anyways.
I don't give room for improvement as well.
But it's accountability, and I think business owners hate doing things that they don't feel like there's an actual ROI, and that's usually money or something like that. And I
just hate doing paperwork.
I hate doing paperwork. I hate admin. Like, I put my hand up and I just hate it. Like, you ask me to look at anything or do this regularly, I just hate it. But you kind of have to like kind of bite a bullet every now and then, and kind of got to go and do it, right? Sometimes, so like I would have always tried to get you to do most of the work I didn't or couldn't do, because it was like paper. I didn't like paper. But you were always very good at that, or you've kind of put up with it more than I have, I suppose, in one way.
It was necessary evil.
There was no choice either in the matter.
Well, one of us had to do it.
One of us has to do it,
But like, again, you're such a superstar at service-based sales. It was kind of like, okay, well, again, I can definitely sit down and read through these and whatever and prep contracts and stuff. And you get pretty efficient at doing it. We do it over time.
There's no ChatGPT in our time.
No. But I'm a big fan of ChatGPT now. And me getting into the AI space. But mentorship, big one. Very good. And the other piece as well, and there's a specific piece of advice we got a couple of years ago, and I won't mention it because they're actually a bit of a notable person in Ireland. You have to be very wary of like what way the person wants you to go, because I feel like your vision of what you want and their vision of what they want for you can be very different. I remember one guy advised us, and he was like, guys, you should go door to door, meet every business owner in the west of Ireland, and you be the guys, you be their guys.
Yeah,
and
the guys they can call up on and everything like that.
Where local young lads are going to do it for you, because that's where that's where the value he thought we could offer to the market.
Yeah.
But our ambitions were good to go global.
Yes, and there was nothing wrong with that piece of advice at core, but we knew where we wanted to go, and we were able to compare it. And remember, we got off that call and we were like, oh, this is actually a little bit different to what we would have wanted, and this is why you shouldn't have too many chefs in the kitchen in a business, and that's why you kind of have to respect and create that board where you can get balanced opinions in certain sectors. You know, like over time you develop someone that can give you legal advice, tax advice, you know, business, you know, different marketing advice, and that's like, you got to choose the people that align with your vision more and more. And we'll get into the vision. I think you want to talk about vision on today's pod, but just really quickly on how you meet these people, right? I don't think you necessarily look for these people. I think life has a way of giving you people or putting things in your way for you to go and execute on or challenge yourself on. But, you know, these people kind of lie around coffee shops, co-working spaces. You know, you can go to the Porter Shed and meet a lot of interesting people. Yeah. You just don't know who you're going to come across. And, like, I think business is all about simplicity and just finding out who you want to be surrounded by, and find those people and go talk to them. And it has to be so natural.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing Gareth really taught me over the last, like, couple of months, he says, is like, an opportunity is only really an opportunity when you can see it clearly. Like, all these hypotheses or trying to overthink something, that means it's not an opportunity. That means it's a possibility. I just found that to be like a golden rule now in making decisions of, do I see a clear path to success here or not? Because until it's blurry and it's foggy, I just won't be able to make a proper decision on it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but just going back to vision, that's one thing you did want to talk about, you know, from your weekly.
Yeah. So some of my takeaways. So obviously with Magnate, we've onboarded a good few team members, specifically in the development
exciting
section.
Times.
Yeah, no, it's amazing having people on board. And I suppose it just kind of brought up the reminder of the lesson for us is that, especially in a startup business when there's no reputation, no track record. Obviously, I have some level of track record in business, but the company inherently has no track record. I think
from zero.
I think it's really reminded me that of aligning the vision of the companies and very clear of like, where are you going with this company, and then making sure that people can build their dreams into that and their vision and their goals inside that as well, which is super, super important. I actually, and again, you'll hear me quoting the Hormozis a lot because I'm a big fan. But I remember I saw a clip of Layla Hormozi during the week, and it really was reminiscent of what I was thinking about. She said, I want to build a company so big that every person inside my organization's dreams can be built inside of what I'm building.
You got to take a minute for that one.
Big statement. And I think on all levels. So I think what a lot of people fall into is that, especially if you're going to hire more people and let's say your business is taking off, like we're obviously a startup, pre-revenue, pre-product, or we have trials, or even if you're like an SME, I think a lot of people get really focused on, okay, I need this bookkeeper, I need this marketing person, I'm just going to fill a hole. But they're not thinking about, okay, this person with all this potential and skill sets coming in, where are they looking at? Like, why do they have the incentive to stay on? Like, I'll pull stats here, like the 68% of Irish people work for SMEs. That's less than 250 staff. That was back in 2022, the CSO put that out. And it's about 50% in America. So, like, a huge amount of our economy is actually working for SMEs. Yeah. So it's like, why...
It's the backbone of the Irish market.
And more, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting that, like, when I'm onboarding new team members, I think there should be a large... I spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, where does this person want to go? And can this company enable it? And are we aligned vision-wise? Because, like, you know, in a large company... 9 to 5, you clock out at 5, any overtime is paid massively. But a smaller team, it's like, it's all hands on deck. We're in here on a Saturday, we have the team in here on a Saturday. Like, it is all hands on deck. It's a very different environment. So I think I was really reminded of that, of really reinforcing, hey, are we aligned? Because when push comes to shove and it's late on a Friday night and things go wrong, that needs to be the
Yes.
extra thing that pushes you through. And even just for general job satisfaction, you know, you really need someone bought in. Because I think if these are not aligned, you'll just be another company they work for, and then as soon as they've hit their 1 to 2 years, they're jumping.
Yeah.
And I think we've done a very good job. Like, obviously,
retention.
yeah, and again, I think we're Grafton. We've done a very good job of retention of staff. I think we've always been very focused on that, on top of delivering challenges and on top of giving people roles that they're really suited to, because people want to succeed, you know. So
Yeah.
I was really reminded that during the week about, you know, when you're bringing someone on, can their dream be fulfilled inside your company, and then you possibly have a long-term person and a long-term team member as well, which I think is really, really important and not talked about enough. So
100%. And I think it's also, like, it needs to be mentioned that as your company evolves, your staff have to evolve with the company, and mindset and vision always has to be brought in. And like, that's why we were talking on the last podcast, sometimes you got to have uncomfortable conversations if somebody's not aligned or is not there in that level of thinking, execution, or anything like that, that it's not going to be fit for the company. Like, those are ruthless sounding, but they're real decisions to be made and to be executed on. As that's your job as a leader, to constantly keep morale, but the team has to be the team that's going to lift the company to new levels all the time. So, and it's totally okay for somebody to be like, actually, I don't actually align with this vision anymore. I used to, but not anymore. And that's why you'll see a lot of people from the likes of Microsoft, Intel, you know, who there was recent, you know, layoffs and changes in structure. You'll see a lot of people are like, actually, I'm no longer aligned with this mindset. I want to go work in a startup, or I want to go work in an SME, or go different places, which is great because talent is now distributed and spread across. We all need, you know, people with our mindset and our goals to work together and bring us to the next level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's one of the best parts about building a tech company in Ireland is we have so much of the larger companies that are bringing their skill, bringing their training, bringing their mindset, bringing all, you know, obviously all the resources they pump into their team members. And then if someone elects to leave one of those companies, then obviously these people highly skilled are in the ecosphere. And again, for companies that we're building like ourselves, it's only invaluable to have those insights.
100%.
So my second point is, I think, is one that I get asked about a lot, and I'm very passionate about the area because we've lived it, is being young in business is not your enemy.
But for ages, we thought it was against us.
Totally. We had such a victim mentality of when we wouldn't, let's say, not get a social media marketing contract, when someone would not pick up the phone again, not answer emails, we're like, oh, it's only because we're young. Oh, they just, you know, they don't get it, you know. But
do you remember that social media pitch we've done for that hotel locally, and we were like sitting across, and we went and done like a presentation and everything, and like, to be fair, we weren't probably ready to take on the social media, but you always have to punch above your weight in business, or else you're never going to grow. And remember, the guy, the manager kind of goes on duty and goes, do you guys do this as like a TY project, or like what's, you know,
fun you do on the side?
Yeah, it's some fun you do on the side. That's really like stuck with me since, and like I just remember it, and I just remember feeling like, oh God, is this like impossible? Yeah. Because I even remember you were like on the phone in school, like dialing businesses, trying to quote social media packages, and remember that VR place that actually answered the phone and actually was kind of interested.
Yeah, so with the first one you're referencing there, the hotel, I remember another company in the same space had had a meeting booked before, and it was an older dude, like 50s, 60s, and we were kind of looking and going, oh no, he looks very experienced, like we now don't have a chance. But yeah, what you're referencing is a story I always tell a lot, because it's one that's always stuck with me. And it's funny, I don't know if you remember recently, there was a kid somewhere in the country, there was a photograph of him on the toilet in a school uniform.
Oh, Liam. I think his name was Liam.
With a laptop and a phone. He was doing a cold call, which was absolutely brilliant.
Cardshare.
Yes.
That's the company. It's amazing to see it.
Yeah, fair play. And again, it really reminds me of us 5-6 years ago. But I remember I was on my lunch break, and I cold called this company because I emailed it back and forth, and they were like, we're interested. Hop on the phone, and they're like, yeah, no, we love all that sort of stuff. What rough ball pricing do you have? And we'd never priced a job yet, so I was like,
you're like, let me just pull a number out of thin air.
So I was like, oh well, let me send you over a quote. I'll come back to you. And they're like, yeah, like we get it, not a direct quote, but like rough ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said €450 a month. And they were like, that's way too expensive. I remember
that was the first cold call, probably, actually.
I remember going, I had French class afterwards because I rang off the school landline.
And you were like, c'est la vie.
I rang off the school landline, and went into class. I was so angry. I was like,
did actually ring off the school landline. Oh my god.
So I went into French. I was so angry.
Yeah.
And a couple of my mates still today remember that, because I was like, I blew it. I've messed up the entire business. We're never gonna.
It's over. It's over.
I catastrophized, but yeah, like I think, and the reason I actually mentioned this point as well is because it's actually been 3 years since we were in the 30 under 30 Irish Independent list.
Yeah, wow, 2021,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in November of 2021, and we were one of the youngest and one of the only service-based businesses on and revenue generating on the list at the time.
Yeah.
But I really think that up until, and actually, funnily enough, meeting Garrett, I feel like we definitely were kind of feeling a little sorry for ourselves about, oh, woe is us, you know, oh, we're losing deals, we're not able to scale at the same pace, they don't get it. But what I actually boiled it down to, upon reflection, and I'd love to hear your thoughts because I could be missing something. I think it was a skill deficiency, as in like we didn't actually have the skills about what we were actually delivering. I think it's track record. Obviously, we had no portfolio to actually point to show people, and inside like the confidence, you know, because
I was gonna say confidence is 100%. You need wins along the way, and you need luck on your side to like make this work, or else it's a very dark, lonely road to walk, and you don't know when you're going to get your first win. What is your first win? And that's just something we were talking about the last podcast as well, is you got to celebrate like each and every even small little win on the small, you know, on the short term, for you to be able to like acknowledge it and keep going. You need your power and momentum from somewhere. But
and the network as well, and having a strong network, and you know, something you've been excellent at is really building a really robust network.
You have to, because it is all about, a majority of it is who you know, not really what you know over time. You know, it depends, because you just have to evolve in your role, I suppose. But just, I think that a really big just like a really big factor of it all is when you embrace everything that you think is like gone against you, and you just make some ways, and you just channel that energy instead of worrying, is about focusing. And like the sample size, like we probably on the scale of things like talked to or reached out to maybe 100 200 businesses at the time.
I think so.
It's like the sample size of engagement is just like so small compared to when you're actually over years, when you're actually got the chance to talk to maybe 1,000 businesses or 2,000 or thousands of businesses, or go to a networking event and talk to 30 people in the one night instead of talking to 2 people in 2 weeks, because you're trying to, you know, lead generate. Like everybody thinks that you can go online and Instagram DM load of people and you're going to get loads of business out of it. Will you get 1 or 2? There's a lot of hustling content out there, and it's something, you know, highly respect and push. But in reality, like if you want to get real business, you got to be out there for years to get those real contracts, deal with real, you know, developing business on that. The other bit is just going to be hustling short-term income for you. So like I think it's a great way to learn how to engage with people, try to close deals, but it's just that needs to shift from doing that and trying to, you know, cold call and cold email people all the time to where do you build those warm leads and engagement. And we've built our business off word of mouth. Like we probably spent under €1,000, would you say, on actually paid advertising in our last 5 years? Yeah,
lifetime,
Maybe like obviously we've done our own content creation and photo shoots, which cost money, but like overall I think we spent like no money. You know, so it was all word of mouth, and that's what's great about Ireland. I think Ireland actually you can be very well known. You can be, you know, pretty much the fish in the fish tank in a little bit, and then meet some sharks along the way. Obviously in America you're like pretty much an amoeba in the bottom of the ocean, when you're actually, that's like when we got to different countries and dealt with different, you know, suddenly it all increased. And then you got to talk with way more people, and you got to fail more, win more. It's all relative, right?
And I think the one which I learned over time was that once you can show people, even if you're young, if you can show people like way older men and women that you're able to stay in the game and actually
100%
and actually stay and survive and keep growing despite fallbacks, despite whatever, you actually earn so much more respect.
You got to be a cockroach in business.
I think even the young age, like obviously I'm 23, you're 24, we're 6+ years in business, and it's like we just the fact that we've survived that time. I think there's a huge amount of respect initially given to us
in the industry. 100%.
Despite even the revenue, it's actually surviving that long.
I don't know what the rate of fail is, but isn't there something to do with after 3 years of business, you really know if you've got a business or a hobby?
It's 90+% have died up, and 95% have died at that point.
Yeah. So, but that's good, because at least you're not waiting around hoping something will come out of it. Like, everyone thinks that, like, when you fail or do something wrong, it's like it's all over. And like, one of my points from just like this week especially is about dealing with stress, dealing with challenges, and like, how does somebody, because like you know, we could get a great phone call in the morning, you could get a very bad letter in the afternoon, and you could get somebody very upset in the evening, and you're having to deal with all that.
All of it,
and that's one thing I was going to ask is like, how do you deal with, you know, challenges or stress from, you know, business side or personal side? What is your kind of coping mechanism?
Yeah, I think it changes over time as you grow. Like, again, we've been just like trying things out. Like, I definitely think that, like, especially during this period, because obviously starting a new tech startup, there's a lot of spare time. And I definitely think that I found some level of outlet just in fitness and jiu-jitsu and CrossFit, and just being able to train.
Jumping on top of boxes.
Yes, exactly, like last week's episode.
Or like rolling down a little bit. On the mat.
Competing in jiu-jitsu and taking on my frustrations there. But I think that that's been a big one for me. One I've done for years as well, and I can get into it, is I see a psychotherapist once every month or 2 months, and definitely doing that.
You've been very consistent at that, actually.
Since I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
And I definitely think from a self-awareness standpoint, I like having an outlet where I'd be able to examine myself, talk about it, or if you're having a bad month, it's like break it out logically, and then have tangible steps. And I find the area of psychology really interesting, so that's been a big one for me. Yeah, like, I think it needs to be kind of a case of like, and we've done psychometric tests recently, that both the personality types are built for doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we both, deep down, despite how bad of a week we're having, we actually love what we do.
Yeah.
And that might sound a little cringy, but I really enjoy my job. I don't want to do anything else.
You gotta like both the ups and downs of it all, you know. And I think it's like you build up a tolerance for a lot of different things, and like I've kind of trained my brain to kind of deal everything in terms of priority, or trying to section things off. So if something happens, it's like, can I deal with this right now, you know, and where will it impact me if I don't or do?
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to be able to firefight, you know. Actually, an American salesperson kind of told me this in a really funny way. You got to be able to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. and because, you know, walk and talk, chewing gum, and you got to, if you're able to do that, you can run a business.
Yeah.
And you actually can't really let particular emotions or notions or any emotion to bring you away from the path you're on.
Yeah.
Because it's you're gonna regret it somewhere. And I just see a lot of people get so upset when it's their first like tax letter come in, or their first you know, like deals start falling through all the time. It's like, okay, you assess like, where am I going wrong? Well, you know, how do I gonna deal with it? And like I think you said it on the last podcast as well, is you're not in it on your own. Like, we're all experiencing it very much in real time, and that's why it's good to have that mentor. It's good to have somebody you could pick up the phone to, or do a Zoom call, or do something, or a coffee, and say, look, I'm going through this, like, what do? I feel so lost. And then that person can like break it down and really make it a small problem on the scale of things.
And I think like I feel like sometimes, especially early days when we were first starting, and it's so daunting of like, how do we make next wage roll? It's Tuesday and we don't have enough money for wages on Thursday.
Or how do I afford to pay this person like this wage? And it just seems so unachievable. But I found, like, when you break things down, and like, okay, let's say you're about to make your first good hire, say better hire, and let's say this person is going to be 50k, you know, and it's like, okay, that's roughly around €1,000 a week. How do I generate €1,000 a week?
And how do they generate, you know,
€3,000 a week, or whatever your profit metric is? But that's, and you go down, okay, I just need to get one sale a week to cover this person's wage. Suddenly it becomes a smaller problem, right? So it's and you know, I thought this until, again, in, like, let's say August, is like, everyone thinks that, you know, the bigger business you get, the easier it gets. Yes, it does get easier in certain, you know, metrics, but your problems get bigger. Everything scales.
New levels, new devils.
Yeah, new levels, new devils. You said that the last as well. That always hits. Good one.
That's good one.
That hits well.
Remember when I first heard that, I went, that is so true.
So true. Oh my God.
And and obviously now we're obviously dealing in kind of very different verticals right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like grassroots, there's a lot of challenges, and then
It's so different because like obviously like I stayed walking the path. And like you went on and was like, let me check out this path now, you know. So it's like it's so different. Everyone's gonna encounter different things, but yeah, it's just you gotta keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's tough out there.
I think there's I think it's sometimes you just need to be one foot in front of the other when you're having a really bad week. I think it's just about one foot in front of the other and like, okay, what am I trying to accomplish and what's going to move the needle? I think you know, sometimes I think we can get lost in the weeds, and then I think what you need to have to be a really good leader of a company, I think you need the ability to be big picture and where is everyone going, where
you got to distance yourself away sometimes from
and which is really difficult because when you're in the weeds and you're dealing firefighting, things are going wrong, your tax letter, someone's quit, whatever, and then you're like, okay, where am I going? You can't throw the whole vision of the whole company off because your clarity is what's going to help the company continue going.
Opinion on this, Daragh, do you think that you got to be really delusional for the start to kind of back yourself up to like walk this path and like just tell yourself, oh yeah, it's okay? Or like, you know, like when I reflect it, I still try to like battle with that thought is like, were we delusional? Were we like, do we know something in our back of our heads, or like how, like, you know, how does, is it charisma, is it luck, is it,
we are absolutely delusional. And I think and it's interesting just the nature of getting into a relationship and having someone very acutely see us like in the very close quarters, like what we do, and we don't even, because we're like an influence on each other, we're each other's benchmark. Like we jump 2 feet first, no idea what's in the bottom of the pool, into opportunities. And we you know what our faith is what we believe we can figure our way out. We figure we can make it work. And like
it's totally delusional.
Yeah, it has to be. And I think you need that element of living in a bit of delusion, especially early days, because like even with Magnate now and like, you know, rolling from a different speed what Grafton was going at, obviously you buying me out, and then going with Magnate by myself and starting again and getting things off the ground, the amount of doors slammed in my face, and if I decided to take it personally I wouldn't be sitting here still working on it. But I think it's the ability of like, I fundamentally believe in what we're doing, and despite what happens day to day, I still need to believe that this is going to work regardless. And like, you know, because as things get more momentum, it's easier to believe in them, and more people believe in it because, you know, it's clear. But like, believing in the early days is definitely, you need to be a bit delusional to stay going at this. 100%. No, definitely. So we're coming up on 35 minutes. So we actually have a call-in voice note that we're going to cover. And we'll then wrap up then afterwards.
Alright, let's do it.
So if this audio is bad, I'll just superimpose it onto the recording.
Hi guys, I'm loving the Build From Scratch podcast. Just have a quick question here. So hypothetically, if I was looking to start my own business, it's so hard to know where to get started. Like, it seems like there's just 20 different things I have to do. I have to go to a bank, I have to do marketing, I have to talk to people. It seems very intimidating to just start. So do you have any advice on how I can just get started with my business? Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's it's the top question we probably get.
Always. From
LinkedIn to Instagram. It's always, or like people always have these ideas and just want to kind of go. But I think there's probably 3 phases of business, right? Is you have your ideation, right? Then you have your whole kind of like the building phase of that idea, and then you have a validation phase. Right, so you kind of have to look at it like a science experiment, because not all businesses, what was the stat, 90+% of businesses after 3 years do actually fail or close or change. But like the business we started today is not the business we're kind of going through. Like my advice is like, okay, it's all depends on circumstances. I understand some people are in different stages of life, and like, have you a mortgage, have you people to take care of, you know, it's all depends, right? We were in the lucky position where we obviously got like a lot of support from our parents. And, you know, we didn't have to pay rent at this time, you know, got our dinner given in the evening. So there was a little bit less stress, more time to figure out. So, but at the end, we'd kind of taken that as pressure of like, we can't be doing this forever. You don't want to be doing it forever kind of thing. Because you want to give back to your family and look after them. You know, that's most people's goal in one way or another.
Always.
But I think that you kind of have to be a person that's prepared to fail to get over that like fear of failure, you know, because like nobody can tell you if just the most experienced people, what I found is they look for traits at the start and like they invest in the person, not the idea, because your idea will never be the same as when you actually, you know, make your millions. You're never going to be the same person, you know. You're going to have a load of different changes, and like that's so normal, but you got to accept that. You know, so like, you know, now you pitching to from VCs to angels to everybody, it's like you're pitching yourself and your idea is secondary, and you're kind of going on like your resume or your investment book is more like, here's my track record, here is my team, here is what our proposition is, here's what we've done to date, this is what we want to do, and that's what you're trying to kind of make a wave with, right? So I would just break it down into, firstly, I need to acknowledge that it's okay to fail, and that's a really hard one. You know, it's easier to do with someone when you kind of go together and do it as mates, and you're probably turning a passion into a project, to a business, you know. So, but I think you got to get over it. Then you got to go into like actually be patient, really, really patient, because like that overnight success is 5-6 years, sometimes 10, sometimes 3. It depends on what business you're in or what world you're in. But I just think you need to break it down into three phases and ideate, innovate, and execute as fast as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said there, and I think the ones on my side is, the two pitfalls I see and the things I would recommend if I'm saying two things to someone. Firstly is start as soon as possible. Not like registering the company with the CRO, if you're in Ireland, that's the registrar's office, or any of that sort of stuff. It's actually just start the momentum of, hey, do I need to like get some brochures for my service? Do I need to have the website for my tech company? Like just starting. I feel like a lot of people get caught in the ecosphere of reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts, and they need to know every single bit.
Yeah, I sense the fear of, I'm going to need a lot of money for this. Like, how much does it cost to set up a business? You know, like, it's a couple €100 to incorporate. It's under €1,000, I believe, or maybe circa that. Less than 1,000. Yeah. So you need to incorporate if you're actually taking this seriously. There's either a sole trader path or a limited private trading path, you know, to kind of get started. Depends on what pace and what's your mission you want to take. I think there's really good groups like Gavin Keneally with the Young Irish Entrepreneurs group. I think is doing a good kind of community job with the team there. And there's a lot of info sharing, and there's people coming in with like no idea as to people that are, you know, along the path, and like you can ping in a message, which accountant do you recommend? There's Cronin and Co, the startup accountants they're known as, you know. I think they're probably a really good kind of jump pad for anybody looking to get into business. You don't need to be meeting an accountant face to face. You gotta, you know, you gotta just get registered, work, figure it out, and then build a relationship, and then see if they're gonna be, you know, with you or whatever. But I just think that's going to be, you got to kind of take away that risk factor, because most people are afraid. We're always afraid of failure. You know, I think that's such a normal human behavior.
And I think people are excellent at procrastination, because like anything other than doing the thing, like talking about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Listening to doing the thing is not doing the thing. You know, writing about doing the thing is not doing the thing. You writing your business plan is not really doing the thing. It's actually getting out there and getting the boots in the ground. The other one as well, and actually like to show how newbie we were when we started, and this might be educational to someone, we thought you had to go to a solicitor's office to register a business. We walk into solicitor in our local village, and they were like, why are you walking in here to register a business? And we're like, do you not register a business? They're like, no, you're going to an accountant for that. I'm like, where's the closest accountant? She pointed
like next door. But
the other one as well is, and I think, I think New Frontiers Phase 1 from the Local Enterprise Office is actually really good. If you have no business acumen and you want to get a crash course in business,
it's fantastic. You literally get a grant in order to get your idea into motion.
Yeah, it's eight sessions. They're each 3 hours, and they touch on every part of business, and they also really tell you pretty transparently about the downsides of actually what you're about to do.
Oh, they actually?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, they talk about the last one of the last sessions we did. It was about, you know, he was talking about pros of being a business owner, what people think, and the downsides, because the guy Stephen who's doing it, he's in self-employed 21 years, but the other one as well, and I think this is one that I kind of said in the session, was I think a lot of people have a nice idea of beautiful brochures, beautiful websites, beautiful everything, but until you ask that first person for €1 and kick someone off the fence, you won't learn. And I think the faster you can go from I've started to ask for €1, and whether they say yes or no, it's all a win, because once they're on the fence, that's not good. But if they say no, it's like, brilliant, you said you had this pain point, you're not willing to give me money, why have I not solved it? And if they do give you money, amazing, you got your first paying client regardless how much money it was. And I think if those two things is just start and close the starting and the getting your first €1 in the door.
But you know yourself, like when we started as well, we went to GoDaddy.com, bought our domain graftondigital.com, and we've done one of those simple websites, a one pager of picture of us to build trust, a little bit of an about us. You know, like the couple of people we knew or whatever, you kind of create a brochure companies you've engaged with or you've worked with or whatever, like fake it till you make it always. You just like who's willing to vouch for you when they pick up the phone. If they ever ask for a reference, you got to have people that will vouch for you, and that's usually like could start from your principal all the way to, you know, if your mum or dad knows, like just get into your network. And like you got to be, it's you know, I don't want to be on and on about you, but it's okay, you got to be ready to fail about it, you know, and enjoy the process, because it's a hell of a ride. You know, I'd love to see the pros and cons of starting a business, you know, from the LEO, but I'd love to get my hands on that one.
They're extensive, but so they be our kind of 2 cents anyways around starting a business, and again, if you want to submit, like we're going to do one voicemail at the end of every session, because again I think it's an interesting,
it's a good idea,
kind of inspiring us to kind of spitball a little bit as well, and maybe might bring out a story or two. So I think that's all for this week's episode. We're just bang on 45 minutes. So,
that's great.
This has been really fun. Any parting words that you want to?
No, just you know, Christmas is coming up. You know, I can't believe it's 5 weeks till Christmas. Probably 5-6 weeks. 5 weeks to Christmas. The year has flown. Let's just don't spend all your money for Black Friday. You know, you got to get your Christmas gifts. Black Friday is falling towards like a last Friday of the year, and like Christmas is done in 2 weeks. So just like make sure you get a gift for everybody during Black Friday, or you're going to Christmas. Nothing else really. But
any feedback, ping us on our socials.
It's all welcome. Or any topics you want us to cover, you know, or anything like that. So
totally, like again, we're trying to keep this as transparent as possible. We're really trying to document what we're doing and document transparently what we're at. And I suppose we've been very fortunate enough to be in business for many years. Again, this is about documentation for us and really tracking what we're at. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give us a follow, give us a like, give it a share with someone you think would be beneficial, and look forward to seeing you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.